So there's something called as comprehensive stool analysis, um, organic acid test, food sensitivity, intolerance testing, different kinds of things. The toxins, heavy metal testing, nutrient panels, and there is routine blood assessments. So the routine blood assessments, what I'm talking about, are the blood tests that you would actually go to your general provider, the conventional medicine practitioners, to get that done, because it's so important. But the ones that I'm talking about on the top, the comprehensive stool and all of those are in my world. Those are naturopathic testing or functional lab testing, where you wouldn't see that done in a conventional setting. Okay. So comprehensive stool test looks at a huge panel of how is your gut bacteria doing, the good bacteria, the bad ones, the yeast, the parasites, how is the digestion, how is the immune function of the gut, looking at secondary IgA, what we call, and then calprotectin, the inflammation marker, and a lot of things. So that can help us to see if there is anything that we need to treat. Organic acid testing is so important. I often recommend this for parents who are starting on this journey. This is very interesting because it not just looks at the bacteria, the yeast, it also looks at mold exposure, and also detox, how the detox is happening, if there are enough brain chemicals as well, because brain chemicals, we can actually see how the serotonin, the dopamine, all of these neurotransmitters, which we call, and then mitochondrial function as well. So if you can't do anything, at least you can start with the organic acid testing. Heavy metals are also very crucial to look at, because these children tend to hold on to toxins so frequently. And that's why, as I said, the mitochondria can get affected, the bacterial population can get affected. So it's all interconnected, right? So toxins and heavy metal screening. Now, food sensitivity intolerance assessment. So there is something called as food sensitivity, and then there is something called as intolerance. Again, there is a whole lot of information you can get from all of these things. And the routine blood samples like cholesterol, creatinine, thyroid is so important to look at. I haven't added it here, but definitely thyroid, blood sugar, liver profile, all of these things. And once you have all of that, it makes it so much easier. I remember a child actually who came in with autism symptoms. He had also speech delays, but it was the main symptom that he was having was an obsessive compulsion about drawing wheels. All he did was to draw wheels, and he asked the mother to draw wheels, and the mother was so exhausted. She was like, I want to talk to the doctor, but no, the child interpreted literally every few minutes. And it was going on all day, just drawing wheels and wheels and wheels. We did the gut panel. We found a lot of bacteria. We started treating him on that. The next 4 weeks when he came in, the obsession of about drawing wheels changed to something about lining the toys. So he was now lining just the toys all day in and out, just lining the toys. And it took us like few weeks to figure out what is really going on. It is basically inflammation that was driving him into the obsession of doing some of these things. So this child had much more going on. He had some infections underneath, which we had to send him out for testing and all of those things. And once that was stabilized, the child was much better. And the next time when he came in, he looked much calmer, and he just kept staring at me, which was a relief. So things like that are so much important to look at. Now, in terms of talking about a bit about the learning difficulties, ADHD, as I said, these children are very sensitive to certain things like preservatives, colors, any sugar. So sugars are something that have to be looked into, and they tend to crave those a lot, which leads to more yeast overgrowth. And then the yeast want to survive, so they crave more sugar, and that drives the child to eat more sugar as well. So you have to break the cycle, make sure that the child is having a cleaner diet, No sugars pretty much, as much possible reduce sugars, improve protein intake so there's no blood sugar dropping that affects the focus issues and all of that. Yeah, so that's about the ADHD. That's pretty important to make sure the diet is clean. So relevant testing, sometimes, I don't know where you are located. If you're located in certain countries, the functional testing or naturopathic testing may not be available. So, well, you can contact us because we do know a lot of doctors who are doing this. And eventually we are hoping to have more centers where we can use these testing in other countries so people can go in there, get these done, the tests done. Now, as I said, so all of these are so important to look at. It's not just about the gut. There is all of these patterns that have to be looked at. Now, I don't want to end the seminar without emphasizing the foundations of the treatments again, which means the diet, which I talked already about it. And then the next important is sleep. Sleep is very crucial because that is a time when the child is able to, or any of us, we detox a lot in sleep and growth as well. So sleep is very crucial. Try to get good sleep. If not, then make sure that he can so there's herbs, supplements, things like that, or if there is anything that is bothering the sleep, needs to be looked at. Herbs such as passion flower, valerian, or even melatonin 5, HTP, things like that have to be looked into. And then third is stress. Stress is so, these children are so into the stress sympathetic overdrive that it can drive the whole family crazy. And so there are different ways to calm down the stress. Sometimes deep hugging can help, or weighted blankets. Weighted blankets can push them to the parasympathetic mode so that they can calm it down. Sometimes, oh yes, and there are herbs as well, which is what I wanted to say. There are herbs that calm things down, like ashwagandha, rhodiola, avena. So there are many kinds, and adrenal herbs, what we call it. Adrenal herbs are calms the cortisol response. So oftentimes I do that with the children if there is a lot of the stress going on, and also find out why the stress is coming from. So sometimes it could be the parents as well. They are stressed out. They have other expectations. And these children are so, they take on the parents' stress. They can feed on their own stressors. So I often advise parents that they need to take a respite so they can recharge. And that is also very important as part of the treatment plan. So yeah, so if you can see, there is all of this, if we can manage to look at as a multi-system disorder rather than brain disorder, I think there is a lot more people that we can help. We don't see any sign of this rates of autism now being 1 in 50 coming down anytime soon. So if we can even save a generation of kids, if the physicians watching this, I think if we can work into looking at this on these lines, I think that is nothing less rewarding.